Welcome to Survivor Scale, the show where we break down all of horror's greatest characters to find out who has the skills, experience, and mentality to be the ultimate survivor. I'm H2 Mass, and today I'm breaking down every main character in John Krasinski's 2018 questionably quotable, A Quiet Place, where a family must find new ways to survive as a group of blind creatures hunt them with sound. We start the film just one day short of the time it takes to get married, as we see shots of a town whose inhabitants seem to have vanished. Suddenly though, a pair of dirty feet tiptoes in the shadows and a child pitter-patters across the floor. The two foot friends then relax in an aisle and have a conversation in sign language, the little one hoping a spaceship might help them leave the planet and escape from the dangers that plague them. A moment later, he tries to grab a toy rocket from a shelf just a bit too high and knocks it over, allowing his sister to demonstrate her reflexes and awareness when she catches it right before it hits the floor. Why is she so worried about it? Doesn't seem like she has to pay for it. They then rendezvous with the rest of their family, who all demonstrate some impressive composure by staying almost completely silent as a father destroys the hopes and dreams of his youngest child when he tells him that he can't have the toy he so desperately wanted. Just let him have the damn toy. Or someone else will. And someone else does! After the rest of them leave, his sister Reagan hands him the toy. But after she walks away, his sneaky ass takes advantage of her deafness by quietly grabbing some batteries from the counter and placing them inside the rocket before joining the rest of the family on their way back home. As they walk, however, the family demonstrates some illegal levels of negligence as they let their youngest child lag far behind them without even glancing back to check on him. Until he turns on the toy, at which point Big Daddy Lee hears the smile growing on his son's face and rushes towards him to take away the one moment of joy this child may ever know. But something else gets to him first. Oh, so that's why they were being so quiet in this Oh! 383 days later, we see evidence of the family's strong preparation abilities, having retrofitted their house to operate in complete silence, even replacing their board game pieces with ones made of fabric. Unfortunately though, this doesn't stop Reagan from displaying her clumsiness and knocking over a lamp, which forces Lee to act quickly to extinguish the fire. He maintains his composure, but as he listens to see if any of the creatures heard the small crash and will come bursting into the room to bring about the doom of this family, a raccoon falls from the roof instead, letting Reagan off the hook from yet another disaster. Man, she's gotta be more careful. Unfortunately, she does the complete opposite as she succumbs to her own curiosity and tries to go into the basement alone, disobeying her father's commands not to do so. Before she can take even one step onto the staircase though, her father pops up out of nowhere and drags her outside, which only makes her angry. In an unsuccessful attempt to appease her, he tries to give her a hearing aid that he had been tinkering with since her old one has broken, but her vindictiveness reveals itself when she refuses her father's gift because she's grown tired of his uselessness and failed attempts at engineering. Come on, you gotta give him a chance. He's trying. A bit later, Lee takes his son Noah on a journey into the forest, where he grabs some fish from a trap he had set up earlier. When the fish slips out of his hands though, it makes a bit of sound, and his son exposes his skittishness and sense of self-preservation when he immediately tries to run away. Coward. However, Lee stops him and tells him that the sound of the river can cover smaller sounds, keeping them undetected. Back at the house, Evelyn carries a sack of potatoes up the stairs, but struggles when it gets caught on one of the steps. Though she manages to pry it loose, she ends up pulling a nail out of the floor as well, unfortunately displaying poor mindfulness when she doesn't bother to check what caused the sack to get stuck in the first place, leaving a big-ass nail sticking out of the staircase. No way that's gonna be important later. On their way back home, Lee and Noah stumble into an old man and a woman whose guts have become a bit too extroverted. Recognizing the old man's emotional instability due to what seems like the loss of his wife, Lee motions for the old man to stay quiet, but he refuses and instead decides that now is the perfect time to practice his Super Saiyan transformation and yells as loud as he can. So Lee quickly grabs Noah and hides as one of the monsters rushes in and kills the old man. Meanwhile, Evelyn walks through the house when her water suddenly breaks, so she goes back into the basement to prepare to give birth. However, she ends up stepping straight onto the nail she overlooked earlier. Damn! Fortunately, she has some incredible composure, managing to stay almost completely silent as she screams inside her head. Her composure saves her again when she stays quiet even after seeing one of the creatures walking inside her house. Despite the pain of her impatient fetus trying to escape, she manages to not release any whimpers like so many other horror movie characters in similar situations, and instead showcases great ingenuity with a well-timed diversion that distracts the creature and gives her a cover of sound, allowing her to escape without detection. Unfortunately though, she encounters the creature again and must take refuge in the bathroom as it prowls around the house, her water turning into Kool-Aid as she struggles to hold in her screams. Her husband and son though come to the rescue when they set off some fireworks to draw the creature away from Evelyn, allowing her to unleash the loudest scream on film since 1996. Lee then makes his way into the house and finds Evelyn in the shower about 7 pounds and 6 ounces lighter, holding the #1 draft pick in a world where loud noise is a death sentence. A newborn baby. Lee then carries Evelyn and their new son to a soundproof secret compartment that they built specifically for this situation, once again demonstrating the effectiveness of their preparation abilities. Feeling guilty about the death of her child a little over a year ago, Evelyn implores Lee to bring back the other kids before they meet the same fate.
Promise me, you will protect them.
Yeah, he's doomed. As Reagan walks through the cornfield, unaware of the recent chaos, one of the creatures approaches her from behind and tries to map its environment by listening to the nearby sounds. However, Reagan's hearing aid sends out a signal that seems to harm the creature and causes it to run away. She then runs into Noah and the two of them go to a grain silo to wait for their father. A bit later, Evelyn wakes up from a brief rest, but realizes that their little hideout has started flooding and one of the creatures has found its way inside. Trying to save her baby, she slowly steps into the water and walks over to him, quietly evading the creature just a few feet away. Keeping her composure, she grabs the baby, who already demonstrates a prodigious talent for miming by being the quietest newborn in human history. On the silo, Noah wants to wait for their father to arrive, but Reagan, with her poor emotional awareness, thinks he hates her and that he won't come for her, so instead of letting him disappoint her again, she tries to leave the silo, but as Noah tries to stop her, he falls through the roof and into the grain, creating a noise so loud that it draws the creature away from their mother and towards them. As Noah begins sinking, Reagan jumps down and slides over a panel that had fallen inside so Noah can pull himself up. In the process, however, Reagan ends up sinking herself as well, so Noah returns the favor and helps her up too. Aw, well isn't that sweet? Sadly, like fruit-flavored bubblegum, the sweetness doesn't last long, as the creature jumps into the silo and tries to attack them. Reagan, however, showcases some impressive ingenuity by using the panel as protection from the creature, who once again experiences some discomfort from Reagan's hearing aid and runs away. Noah and Reagan then run out of the silo and find Lee, who tells them to hide in a nearby truck. As they do so, Lee retrieves an axe, but the creature finds him and pushes him away like a bachelor with commitment issues. Noah sees this and can't help but scream, bringing the creature right to him and his sister. As it tears apart the truck to get to the kids, Lee decides that an important character has to die in this film and fulfills his promise to Evelyn by yelling as loud as he can, distracting the creature long enough for Noah and Reagan to get away as he becomes an off-screen source of protein, leaving the self-sacrificing sire in B tier. In the morning, the creature decides that it's got nothing better to do and walks back into the house to terrorize the family some more, so Evelyn quietly grabs a shotgun to prepare herself as it closes in on them. However, Reagan's hearing aid makes the creature spaz out yet again, but this time she weaponizes it by amplifying the sound with a nearby microphone, causing the creature to collapse to the floor. When it gets back up, Evelyn reacts quickly and shoots it in the head, with its weak point finally exposed, giving the family their first confirmed kill, but also drawing all of the other creatures in the area right to their house. Time to tango. With 3 remaining survivors, A Quiet Place adds an A tier and 2 C tier contestants to its roster, with Evelyn's unparalleled composure alongside Reagan's emotional miscalculations and Noah's oscillating skittishness as the primary culprits for their rankings. Now it's time to give out the awards. Well, one award and one whatever the opposite of an award is. First off, the Ultimate Survivor Award goes to the character most likely to survive a random horror movie, and I'm giving this to the most composed character I've covered so far, who managed to overcome every obstacle that stood in her way, even while giving birth. Evelyn is the Ultimate Survivor. The first kill award goes to the character least likely to survive a random horror movie, and I'm giving this to the person most likely to avoid danger, but also the person least likely to stop it. Noah is the first kill. But that's it. The average ranking for this cast was B tier. A pretty good collection of characters. While it may be a favorite for much of the horror community, I've never been that big a fan of this film. I always felt like it could have done so much more with such an interesting concept. But hey, at least it lived up to its name. And as always,